What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We got a bunch of previews earlier today, and I just kind of want to go over the highlights, the main things that I am seeing. Of course, this is a game that I think ever since they first showed it off, it's been on my radar. I've long talked about it as one of my most anticipated games of 2025, and that's kind of what you're seeing. It's interesting. I think those of us that saw something in it, whether it's the mix of the combat, right, being like turn-based and also just live, right, like real-time type stuff. There was something that just kind of pulled us into this game, and that's really what you're seeing from a lot of previews. A lot of the taglines are, you're sleeping on this game, don't sleep on it, right? This is going to be maybe one of the better games of 2025, maybe like a quieter one. I don't know how quiet, honestly, it would actually be. If it comes out, well, of course, you never know, I guess, nowadays, when it comes out. If it's extremely good, I do think it's going to pick up steam. Obviously going to be on Game Pass. I don't know if that'll hurt or help it, but I just think word of mouth can really, really carry this game, because there's kind of like the two different, I would say, main features with this game, right? One, to me, is the story / characters. I actually watched IGN's preview, and I echo what a lot of the comments were saying. That individual that did that preview, very, very good. That's one of the best IGN previews I think I've ever seen in my life. Just really detailed, very like sentimental, very like, personal to that person of how much that game seems like it can connect to us, and just how really good it seems like that story is going to be. So that was cool to just kind of hear, and that's something that stood out, right? Obviously, like the cast, you look at the casting list, it's some really, really good names. The acting seems to be very good, but the story, I mean, I really like the idea of the story of the age, and it basically keeps getting younger and younger and younger, so eventually basically everybody's going to kind of get wiped out. So that's a really, really cool premise. And then there's the gameplay, right? Being a little bit more of like a linear map type situation. It's not massively, like an open world type thing, but it's going to give you these levels that you're going to be able to explore a bit, right? Now, I did see there was one complaint about, I believe it doesn't give you a map when you're actually in the level. There's like a pull-out type world where you can kind of walk around and go from like one zone to another, right? Kind of old style, JRPG or RPG, which is really cool. But when you get into it, it seems like there is no map. And I think maybe GameSpot was the one. There was one outlet that talked about just not really jiving with that. For me, I mean, I do get lost very easily. So, I could go after gaming journalism because generally it's not very good. At the same time, I am kind of dumb on my on my own time. So I don't know. We'll see how that ends up going. If I get lost, I'll tell you if I get lost. But that was really one of the only weaknesses, because the combat really, I think, to a lot of people stood out, right? And again, it's a thing that I think really stands out to a lot of people when you watch it, that rhythm-esque type situation of, kind of perfect parrying or getting a parry so that your character is able to strike back, being able to jump over attacks. I mean, those are, I can play either way, but I do like this style. I think it keeps you very engaged basically at all times, right? It's not just waiting for the baton to get passed one to the other. Again, I can play either or, but I just think this way of like, okay, even when you're attacking, there's kind of a mini game that could actually propel your attack, right? Make it more powerful. And then when you're defending, there's things that you can do that can ultimately maybe get you through very, very tough bosses way too early, right? Because if the enemies can't hit you, they can't destroy you. So even if an enemy can do 1 or 2 hits on you and kill you, well, they have to hit you in order to do that, right? And that's what IGN was actually talking about, and I do like that idea quite a bit. So I don't know. Honestly, there wasn't too much said that changed anything. Actually, there was nothing said that changed anything. There's also just not too much that said anything new. Like, to me, this game has always had so much potential, and granted, I mean, now you have people that are actually playing it, right? I think the demo was somewhere 2, 3, 4 hours. Some people were playing it more than one time. I think there was one outlet that played it 4 times. IGN, I think, played it 2 times. So it was kind of a short segment of the game, but they got to replay it multiple times, different difficulties, if they wanted to. So it just sounds like all the potential and all the good stuff that we've seen up until this point, that was just in the game, right? That was just something that they got to experience today. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's one of my most anticipated games of 2025. Always was and always will be, I guess, until it releases. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.